Hello, Samson here, back again. So, in today's segment of book reviews, it being the last one, I think, for 2022, I was thinking maybe going into a new year it might be important to get organized if we're to set goals and achieve goals in the next year that we are approaching. So, literally, I was reading another book, interesting, of course. Uh, Psychology has to do with putting your life together. So it's titled Organize Your Mind, Organize Your Life. Written by two authors, actually. Very interesting book by Paul Harminis and by Margaret Moore. So the book is divided into 9 chapters, but there is this one major section I think that I'm going to base my focus on. It is a book that has to do with you organizing your mind in order to have your whole life organized, because we're looking at the fact that if you have your mind organized, then literally everything about you is definitely going to get organized. So diving right into the book, it is practically based on research and practical examples which were conducted from the experiments that Paul and Margaret actually conducted. So yeah, diving right into the first chapter, it is an opening looking at the fact that there are rules of order. I think these are the following chapters which I'm going to break down to go into the review for. So in chapter 1, it is just an overview of the rules of order which are brought up and highlighted. And then into chapter 2, the authors are bringing to life a change which we is going to be good for you. So it is titled A Change That Will Do You Good. So the reasons actually behind a change that is going to do you good are, it is because you're the boss of your own life, and that is the first thing you need to get uh, to know. And then the second thing is you need to get clear about your priorities. If you need to organize your mind in order to organize your life, you need to be clear about what your priorities are. And then the other thing that we're looking at here is igniting your motivation, because without motivation, I think there is nothing that you might be able to do with your life. And then there is need for you to build confidence in order to look at new challenges that are coming through in your life. That is, if you're to organize your mind in order to organize your life. And then you need to create a vision for change. That is, if you really need to get your mind organized and your life organized. Away from that, the major thing I think being discussed in the book are the rules of order. So there are basically 6 rules of order which we are going to focus on in this review. So diving right into the first rule of order in chapter 3, we are talking about taming the frenzy. So we are human beings. What simply makes us human is our ability to be emotional creatures. So our ability to emote is what makes us human and different from any other animal. So the frenzy here is going to be defined as an emotional state where you feel you are not in control, or you feel there is a lot of control that is agitated just from you. So that is a frenzy state where you feel you're not in control, or there is so much control that you have. So there are 3 primary emotions. Giving an example of primary colors, there are 3 primary emotions the book discusses, and that is what I would love to call ASA. ASA. So talking about anxiety as an emotion, talking about sadness as an emotion, and talking about anger as an emotion. The 3 primary emotions. Classes might differ and everything else might come up, but the book suggests these are the 3 primary emotions which influence our life. So if you are to get control of the 3 primary emotions, and you might have gotten control over your life, and you're going to have an organized life, which is going to stemming rather from the fact that you've got an organized mind. So in order to take charge of your emotions, Dr. Meg, or Coach Meg, practically suggests the following. So the first one in order is that you need to take care of your mind and your body by working out, eating healthy and whatnot. That the basic things you need to do. And you need to plan your life in order for you to not to be controlled by the external frenzy. And then the other thing is you need to build skills in order for you to tame the frenzy. Those are some of the suggestions that are there in order for you to tame the frenzy. And then the second rule of order, which simply states that you need to sustain your attention. So sustaining your attention here, we need to note that you're in charge of your attention. So any temptation that comes in as a distraction is out of your choice to fall for it or for you to control. So there are basically like two scientific definitions of attention. So the first one stems from the fact that it is a goal-driven type of attention, and the second one is a stimulus-driven type of attention. So you can do research on that one in order for you to get a deeper understanding of that. So in order to focus and have sustained attention, Dr. or Coach Meg rather suggests to do the following. So the first one is to take an inventory of the times when your attention is at peak in order for you to be able to work at certain tasks and everything. And then you need to recharge your brain on a constant basis, pay attention to small activities, and then learn how to handle distractions. The thing is, you're definitely going to have them from time to time. So sustain your attention. The third rule of order stems from the fact that you need to apply breaks. There are certain times where life just drives you and then you feel you just need to be in motion all the times, but there is need for you to apply the third rule of order, and that is to apply breaks. There is something interesting, I think, that I came across, that is the fact that at times fast becomes very slow. When you want to be very fast, it turns out that you become very slow. The meaning might be explained later on, but yeah, applying breaks means exerting inhibiting control. So inhibition in this case simply means your ability to restrain and to regulate or control your attention. That is where applying breaks comes in. So in order for you to achieve this, the suggestions which are there, that is to allow thinking and feeling work together. Most of the times when we are feeling, we do not want to think, or when we are thinking, we do not want to feel. But the suggestion is we can allow both to take place at the same time. So the other thing is you shouldn't be afraid to have a heart-to-head conversation. Let your heart and head converse, stemming from the same point I think that we discussed earlier, that is having allowing your thinking and your feeling to work together. So the other thing is you need to manage your energy and then apply the lessons of crisis on a daily basis. And there are things like practicing the fine art of emotional balance. That is where applying breaks comes in. Emphasis is on the fact that allow conversation to take place between your heart and your head. And then the fourth rule of order is modern information. So mod information. This has to do with the working memory that you have. It is literally what you need on a day-to-day basis for you to function. That is where the modding of information comes in. So of course different types of memories that there is a short term, there is a long term, and then there is a medium term memory. So all those are coming in, but then in order to mod the information, there is need for a daily working memory that you need to have. But in order to achieve this, there is need for you to have enough rest and sleep for your memory to be stimulated, and then there is need to consider time to develop your working memory, and then there is need also to flex your memory muscles, and then there is need for you to argue. Engagement in debates and arguments stimulates the fact that you will be have your memory improved. And then the fifth rule of order stems from the fact that you're going to shift sets, shifting gears. The comparison between what is known as multitasking and shifting gears is just, I think, on a very thin line. So this refers to the ability to be flexible in your thoughts and in your behaviors. So shifting gears requires you, for example, you're cooking in the kitchen and then someone calls you. Multitasking is going to involve you to focus on doing both, but shifting gears is going to take you do one task and then you move on to another task. So the need for this comes in the fact that to shift from mental to physical. I think when we talked about the brain and whatnot, it is explained and practical. And then the other thing is you need to be a confident jumper. So the shifting of gears has to do with your flexibility and your ability to blend in or to adapt to different circumstances of life. And then the last rule of order stems from the fact that you're just connecting dots. So the goal of the organized brain is to have an organized life, to see to it that the big picture is acted upon. That is from looking at it from a higher plane of order. So there are like two phases of connecting dots. The first phase has to do with the first three rules of order, and then the second phase has to do with the last three. And then the last chapter in chapter 9, in closing, what might be referred to as closing, staying on top of the fast changing world. So there is need to stay on top, and how do you do that? So there are like a couple of things which are suggested. The first one being rekindle your motivation. Secondly, you need to harness the capacity to adapt to change that's supposed just to come from you. And then the other thing is you need to connect with your body because you need to be in sync with it. And then appreciate how good focus feels. Then you also need to get your heart and head working together. That's a repetition. And you also need to launch all systems, and finally enjoy the view. So heading towards a new year, there is need to get your mind organized in order to get your life organized. Emphasis being allow the head and the heart to have conversation, and do not be afraid to think and feel at the same time. So till we meet in the next segment, probably 2023, I am checking out.